Sup. Welcome to the Sports Yammer. I am a Sports Yammerer. Welcome to the Sports Yammer. I'm your host, the Sports Yammerer, Matt Brown, here from kind of sunny. The sun's beginning to set. Ray, Colorado, as I am joined, per usual, by my co-host and one of my good friends, Kyle Hanlon. Kyle's on mute right now because he's either at a CVS or he's at a restaurant. So I'm not going to ask how he's doing. I don't care how you're doing right now, Kyle. I will, though, talk to my other friend, Jay. Jay, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, buddy. Jay, how you doing? How you been? How are things? I know that you have a shiny new basketball star in your city. So how have things been?
Life is pretty good, man. I cannot complain. The last two weeks, I think 2 weeks ago, I was watching USA lose. We'll get into that later. But other than that, sports wise, I'm pretty thrilled. I can't complain. So it's been a nice little half of a month for me.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned like this last little half month has been fun. It like I feel like. And we were talking a little bit about this before we went live. I feel like unless you're a Boston Celtics fan, I feel like overall, like I feel like unless you're a Celtics fan or a Spurs fan or an England fan or a France fan. Okay, so if you're part of those four groups, also a Norway fan. Basically, if you didn't win the World Cup and also a Spurs fan and a Celtics fan, you're having a great summer. Because Jay, I don't know if you've noticed, but like we're supposed to be like struggling for sports. Like last week was the typical worst sports week of the calendar. You know, you had the home run derby, you had the All-Star game, you had the ESPYs, but we survived.
Yep.
We survived because we had two incredible it was the Final Four. We had two really good Final Four games, and also just prior to that, like I know it's been mainly boosted because of the World Cup, but Jay, summer sports has been really good.
And I would like to add, like, if you a sicko like everybody on this show is, summer league's been fun too. It's like we get summer basketball, and we get summer basketball every year, but not all summer basketball is the same. But I feel like this year, with how loaded this draft class was, and at least for me, like I'm looking at new shiny toys in the LeBaron Fire, like what is it going to do for Philly? But like even for the players that you might not care about, or the players that you might not really know about, or even the players you do know about, it's been fun. Caleb Wilson literally is putting everybody on the map. He has a hit list. He has a hit list right now. And he's crossing names off slowly but surely. I'm a fan. Like, really what the summer is that shows us, besides baseball, because baseball's in full swing, it shows us, like, what we're leading up to. In a few weeks, we're going to be at training camp for the NFL. Like, we get through to July. We're almost there, everybody. So just buckle in. We got a few more stops we got to get to, but after that, we're there.
Yeah, like, we're almost there, and, like, low key, like we'll get into this a little bit later. The World Cup has kind of got me interested in soccer. Like Jay, I'm not joking. Oh, so I'm not joking when I say this. Jay, this name means something to you. Kyle, I'm really sorry. This name means nothing to you. Over the past week, I got into a conversation with JJ Duke.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he is, right?
I believe I do. Yes.
Yes.
You know who he is, though, right, Jay? He's a writer, alumni. He did stuff at the Bronx. Like,
yes.
He's before our time, but also my age.
But I feel like there's a lot of writer people that are just before my time that are also like individuals. I didn't mean that. Did not mean that.
Yeah. No, I know. Believe me, I know. Hey, man, I'm the one that took too long to get there. Anyway, Kyle, JJ Duke is a professional broadcaster in Connecticut who also went to writer, and he also did a lot of sports broadcasting at the radio station. He primarily broadcasts for University of Fairfield sports, as well as he does Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, like conference championships. So he does like women's lacrosse, soccer, baseball, and all that jazz. But last week I posted on my Instagram that I'm adopting NYCFC, which I stand by that. I'm adopting NYCFC. I could have adopted the Red Bulls, but I haven't done that for so long, and I root for almost pretty much everything New York, so I felt like I had to adopt NYCFC. There's a long way of me saying JJ saw that and he reached out to me and he said you should also check out the USL Championships League because the USL it's going to start operating similar to like the Premier League and European leagues and stuff like that, and apparently it's a lot more fan friendly. So I'm not joking when I say that I promise the end of the story is coming. On Saturday, I watched a USL Championship game. That's the name of the league. I didn't watch a title game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I watched I watched club soccer, man, and I picked a team. We root for Brooklyn FC in this house. Now I just got to get Brooklyn FC kit and I got to get an NYC FC kit.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, and I've been like learning about like the best players on those teams and like who like where their seasons are and stuff like that cuz NYC FC they come back on Wednesday. They're playing Cincinnati, I believe, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'm like yeah, no, that's what I did, man. But like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the World Cup and also just overall for sports, man. Because then that's the other thing too. I'm almost done, I promise. I feel like there's also just been so much sports. There's always a kind of sport on.
Yeah.
Because like I can't even talk about the WNBA. I don't know what's going on in the WNBA. All I know is that it's super competitive and everyone's pissed off at Caitlin Clark and stuff like that.
And then she had 45 the other day too. So you know
what?
She had 45 the other day too.
Who?
Caitlin Clark.
Get the fuck out of here.
He had 45.
That's amazing.
She hit a dagger. Too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, but like my overall point is that like there's just always a sport on. And like because of that, sports has just been so good this summer, which like you always talk about like, oh, you only have baseball, you only have blah. Hello, Ryan. Ryan, we're talking about how yes, the World Cup helps, but overall sports this summer has been overperforming and has been very good so far. Like we're usually crying, we're usually pooping over the summer because of sports. But I gotta be honest, I've been really enjoying sports, even the baseball, despite the fact that the Yankees went poopy. Because
I was gonna say, the Yankees are really making it not really worth watching right now.
Yeah, well, they're still winning right now. They're doing what they got to do, and they got one.
I gotta listen to Red Sox fans talk about 13 trade. It's so obnoxious.
Oh, they're not real. They're owned by private equity, which unfortunately the Yankees are now too. But we don't talk about that though. But anyway, but overall, what I'm trying to say though is that like. You know, there's usually the stereotype that sports is poopy in the summer, but aided by the World Cup, overall, this has been a pretty good summer, I'd have to say, with sports, because then also just the sport news. You know, the NBA offseason, it's been really entertaining. It's been a lot of fun, as well as the aforementioned Summer League that Jay spoke about. And then also, Ryan, I'm sure, and we'll get to this in literally just a second, but Ryan, like I'm sure you've also noticed, like this has been a very excited NHL offseason. Like this has been,
oh yeah,
I know that Marner.
We got an offer sheet. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, like I know that Marner going to Vegas last year was a huge move, but it was also expected that he was moving. I feel like overall this has been a more explosive NHL free agency, and we're getting to that in literally just a second. Because guys, I just want to take a second. I want all of us, real quickly. Let's give sports in the summer a round of applause. Summer sports, good job. We're almost in August, gents. We're almost there. We're almost to football. We're almost to the fall sports, gents. And summer sports didn't just get us there, didn't just hold us over. They really knocked it out of the park, man. Like they were really good. And like I just want to say it starts, and Kyle, after this, I'll pass it to you. It for me, it starts with the Knicks. I just want to give a round of applause to the Knicks. Winning the title. I know no one else does, but I don't care. I want to like winning the title, but also just giving me something to watch and giving like the entire world and the entire country, ignore your faces, something to watch and root for. You know, that was a lot of fun. And like NBA, that was a good NBA final. Kyle, what do you want to give an applause to?
I'll give an applause to the World Cup because it was a very exciting time. We actually got almost everyone on the show at least somewhat interested in the World Cup after groans of, oh, it's only a game that everything ties 0-0, blah, blah, blah. Argentina tried to mess it up at the end. They really tried to mess it up at the end. But it was a really fun tournament, and hopefully it'll bring us that much closer to actually enjoying soccer in this country. So round of applause there.
Applause to soccer. Applause to the World Cup. Jay, what's some you want to give an applause to? I actually think I know exactly what you want to give an applause to. It's one Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, no.
The Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I want to take a quick minute to just shout out my second favorite basketball club of all time, the Boston Celtics. Because man, oh man, I don't know what we did to deserve a shiny Jaylen Brown for the price of a Paul George, but I will take it. So from the bottom of my heart, Brad Stevens and everybody over that front office, from the city, not just me, not just Jay Johnson, city of brotherly love. The most brotherly thing you could do is share your toys with us. Thank you. Just thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Like Sesame Street once taught us, sharing is caring. Ryan, like I teed up for you, the NHL, it's been very good this offseason. Tell us why we got to give it a round of applause.
I mean, just the first week leading up to the draft, you saw just explosive trade after explosive trade. You saw an offer sheet for the first time in 4 years. I just love that general managers are being aggressive and saying F them picks. You know, we saw the 4th overall pick move. We saw the 9th overall pick move. Like, it's an exciting time with the NHL having a new salary cap, getting 2 new games. So it'll be an 84-game season. And now you're just seeing these big moves after big moves. They're kind of taking a page out of the NBA's book with all these big names moving in the offseason. And it's just generating a lot of buzz for the NHL. So round of applause for NHL to stepping up into the big boy league.
We got him.
Seriously. I mean, that was I will say there was a part of me that in the back of my mind, and like I'm sure everyone thinks this that like watches sports. The second they like got back on ESPN and they signed that new shiny media rights deal, I was like, yo, man, give it a couple years. But the NHL, it's gonna be back, and it's gonna be like when I was a kid, when like it was talked about with frequency on shows and not like a freaking niche thing. And like, yo, man, and it like the last like 3-4 years, man, it's back. It's back.
It's back in a big way.
Oh yeah. I do eventually want to talk more about other sports as well as what's coming up in August, because we have the 3 big letters as well as the other 3 big letters. College football. I don't know what you want to label that as. We got okay, so the other 3 big letters. I was right. Anyway, we got those coming up in August, but before we completely gloss over that and we start talking about camp this, camp that. What do you mean another Jet got arrested? Before we do all that talk, because I also believe that happened. Actually, no, I think Gino recently got one of his charges cleared. I was like, let's go, week 1. I look forward to your letters, to quote Craig Ferguson. Anyway, I do genuinely want to talk about the World Cup because I was sick last week because of my job's music festival. It was a lot of fun, but it took a lot out of me. So my body was like, you're dead. I was like, oh, no. So we didn't get to talk about the World Cup from the quarterfinals onward. Those were good quarterfinal games. And then we got really good Final Four games. And then we got really good and then we got a pretty good, in my opinion, World Cup final game. I want to start with the World Cup final and then work backwards. I do have a hot take about the World Cup final. So I know that the first half was quote unquote slow and boring in the sense of like no scoring really happened. But like, Spain was in control. They were trying to do some stuff, but they were like cautiously trying to do stuff. Then you had the halftime show, which like, I gotta be honest, this is just my quick take on that. Weird reactions. Like, I don't even have like an opinion on the show. I thought it was like, it's like, yeah, that's a halftime show. Yeah, that looks like a corporate halftime show. But like, I was more surprised that I was like, you guys have this many of opinions of the FIFA halftime show? That's like I have an opinion of the CFP halftime show. Digressing. That's just a quick aside. Digressing from that though. But then the second half, it it very much, and I think this is why soccer might have gotten me a little bit more. It reminds me of golf in the sense of like there is a quiet intensity where like once, for lack of a better term, you could like understand what's really going on or like how to better watch the game, it does like grab you. So like it was 0-0 for the full 90 minutes going into extra time, but like man, that was a rock fight. Like that was a rock fight. That goalie from Argentina deserves like the pick of the litter of whatever he wants. Like he can get a reservation at whatever restaurant. He can live what you like what Vizino's getting in Cabo Verde, he should get in Argentina. You know, like Martinez blocked freaking everything. He holds the record for most saves in a FIFA World Cup. I can't remember if it's a FIFA World Cup final or a FIFA World Cup match.
It's a final.
Yeah, in the final, he saved
11.
He saved 11.
Yeah.
He saved 11.
I will say, just not to be a little bit of pushback,
Yeah.
a lot of those saves were pretty routine.
Yes.
Spain didn't have really a lot of high danger opportunities. He played amazing, but a lot of those saves were of the routine variety.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I don't think that's taking away from it because
No.
because even a guy that like had that record, I'm sure he also had routine saves. It's kind of like when you get 60 wins, it's just kind of like, all right, cool. You know what you got to do? Yeah, but some of those wins were against the worst teams in the league. It's like, all right, cool. You know what you got to do? You got to beat those teams.
Right.
You got to make those. So like, I get what you're saying. I accept what you're saying. And I actually, to boost you, I do not think you took away. Anyway, context matters, friends. Anywho, like I thought like that was a rock fight. Like that was like if you're a sicko like our friend Frank who likes a 10-7 football game, like that's the soccer version of that. Cause like it was interesting because like I was almost able to like not take the first half off, but like I knew like when Spain got close, I was like, okay, they might score here, but they overall are just it felt like they were biding their time until the second half because they knew the second half, that's when they had to be extra on. First of all, Spain was a stonewall as they have been the entire tournament. Their goalie let up only one damn goal the entire tournament. That's crazy. That's crack. Anyway, not the Maradona kind. But anyway, so like they were a stonewall, but then they were also trying to like make some stuff happen in the first half. Not that much, unfortunately, happened. They had like 20 shots or something like that before Argentina got one shot on the goal. I thought it was very interesting. It was very quietly intense, especially like the second they came out of the hydration break, I was expecting either Spain to strike or Messi to like become Thanos again. And like I thought it was really interesting. They stopped Messi from being Thanos. Like they cut him off from really gaining any momentum, even when he was going out of position to try and get something going on the defensive end for his offense. It was interesting. It was a low-scoring soccer match, and it was interesting. Like, what the hell kind of world is this? I'm gonna watch an NYFC match on Wednesday. I hate this. This is terrible. This is awful. I swear to God, if I get a new hobby, I swear to God. Digressing from that though. So like, yeah, like I heard some sport talk about it in the terms of like, oh, it was kind of a boring game. And like, I don't agree with that. Cause like, I feel like everyone knew, even the most novice viewer, I think they all knew the first half. Not that the first half doesn't matter, but like, yeah, like whatever happened in the first half, it's moot because you know shit is going to go down, especially after that final hydration break in the second half. Like, you know, that's when shit's going to heat up. It happened against Egypt. It happened against Norway. Norway? Yeah, Norway. It happened against England. It happened against England. Like, you know, so like I think having that in mind, I think that's what made it more entertaining. Like, it's like, all right, nothing happened, but like we all kind of knew that was not going to happen because we know that these teams get psycho in the second half, especially Messi. So I thought that made it all the more installment. I'm very sad that Zlatan only did one World Cup. I would have loved to see him on like Copa America coverage. I think that would have been fun because he's a rare. He's kind of like he. I texted. I think I texted all of you guys this. He was very much like Soccer Barkley, in the sense of like
Yeah.
he's an all-time great in his sport who never accomplished the pinnacle, never won a World Cup. He won a bunch of club trophies, but he never won the World Cup and stuff like that. But like he was such a phenomenal broadcaster and analyst, while on top of that being amazingly hilarious. He was amazingly hilarious. And also dunking on Alexi Lawless, which selfishly I like just because like Alexi Lawless is such a weird lad. Which is weird to say about someone who's significantly older than me. But it like this is a great World Cup, man. And like I mentioned this to Kyle and my mom. I think there's going to be pockets of I'm thinking millennials down. I think there's going to be pockets of millennials that still have almost died. Not that. Sorry, that was my cough. But I think there's going to be pockets of millennials that do have like the old timey thinking of the United States view in soccer, which is like meh meh meh. It doesn't matter. Meh 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 meh. Oh hey, the United States women won the World Cup. All of a sudden, we care for 5 minutes. Like, and I'm also not saying it's going to like break into the top 4 of American sports, but I do think the interest will translate in like 4 to 7 years because I do think this interest is genuine. I'm not saying everyone in America is going to pick a Premier League team or pick an MLS team, but I do think we're going to see a little bit, like at least a little bit of an uptick of interest overall in the United States in soccer. I won't be shocked. And I like even if it's just by a small percentage, I think MLS will go up a little bit. I think interest in MLS academies is going to go up. And I do wonder if more and more kids, especially athletes, will stick more with soccer in the States, especially as you know, there are clubs in the United States. Like I'm thinking of NYCFC. They are owned and operated by the same group that owns and operates Man City, which means they're funded by those people and they fund the club that's in New York City. You know, what if, you know, they start funneling a little bit more, they start investing a little more money in those clubs to then develop more of those players. And then it's more like the European style where it's like, hey, you developed this phenomenal midfielder. Here's $1 million. Can I have that 15-year-old? Thank you. Come play in La Liga. You know, like, again, it's a long view and a long play. It will not play out until like a 4 to 7 year period, unfortunately, which, you know, we don't live in a patient culture. But like I do genuinely think this World Cup, despite the in spite of the United States lackluster performance, I do think that like there will be an uptick in like men's soccer in the United States. And I say that specifically because look, can we just be real for a second? We know we have the baddest bitches in the world. Okay. We know that we own the world. Spain is renting the World Cup. We're gonna go get it next year. Okay. We know that they're fine. We know that they're phenomenal. Okay. That's why we're just, for the sake of this conversation, focusing on the gents. Because the gents, they're the derp tards. They're the ones that need our help. They're the ones that need backing. They're the ones that need help. But like, I'd be curious, digressing from that silly rant. I am curious to hear what you guys think, because like my cousin was interested in this. My cousin did not grow up playing soccer, and like my cousin wasn't just really interested in this. He's like me. When he gets interested in sports, he gets really interested in it, and like he's into like sports memes and like sports news and sports media. So he like knows that stuff. So he was like really getting into it. And so I think millennial on down, I think this stuck a little bit more. Where I think, like I said, in the next 4 to 7 years, that interest is going to come a little bit more in like leagues where like maybe that improves the United States soccer team. Maybe it doesn't. We did move up to 12 in the FIFA rankings as of this morning. But like, I do wonder, like, hey man, like I had a blast watching this, and I watched a freaking Brooklyn FC game on Saturday. Like like Jay, I'll start. Jay, I'll start with you because you are the youngest in the chat. Is soccer gonna I feel like there's more of a genuine interest and a genuine following with your generation, and I hate how old I am while I say that. But like I feel like it's just gonna stick a little bit more. Like I said, it's not gonna break the top 4, but I feel like it's gonna stick a little bit more, if not club wise, at least when it comes to the international game, a la the Gold Cup, Copa, and FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, I'll speak for me. Now, granted, I played soccer as a child, as a wee lad. I'm not like I wasn't good. I was the longest kid they had, and they threw me in the goal, so it worked out.
Jay, we all talk in front of a mic. None of us were good at sports.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Just making sure we're on the same page. but
Only
yeah,
one of us was an intramural champion, Jay.
one time. Hey man, we won undefeated that year. Anyway, I think for my generation, like growing up, us seeing Messi consistently, like the first one of my first FIFA games that I played was like FIFA 13 and Messi's on the cover. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know who this guy is, but sure. And then just like, growing up with so much attention around soccer now, a lot more than it has been, like if you know who Speed is, you know what soccer is. And that's not to sit there and say like Speed is like the catalyst for soccer, but this is an American content creator that all of a sudden just like strikes Pater because he just watches soccer. And then that has already millions of people globally watching his stuff. He ends up going performing at the World Cup. Like, this is someone that I remember when I first saw him on my Instagram, I was like, who is this? Why is he yelling? And then like now it's like, yo, like you're kind of like a superstar globally. And I think that's part of what it is like now the reach of soccer. Like, one thing I'll say about my generation is that there's a lot of fear of missing out. No one wants to not know what's happening, especially when that's what everybody's talking about. So maybe you don't care about soccer at all. I got my mom to watch a soccer game. She doesn't care. But she came in, she was like, hey, I'm going to go kick it with you. And I was watching something completely different. I said, I'm going to go and put soccer on. And she sat there, complained about how boring it was, and watched the entire game. And I'm like,
you watched it.
You were entertained. Like, you said you didn't like this, but you were entertained. So I think that's what it is like, I can get her to sit down and watch a football game. I can get her to sit down and watch a basketball game. But for certain things, it's like baseball pulling teeth, soccer pulling teeth. And I think not saying that my generation has the greatest attention span at all, because we definitely don't. But I think it's the fear of missing out part that got them. If you could put soccer games in 2x speed, I genuinely think that a lot of people would be watching soccer right now. I think that's just the biggest thing, is that people don't want to sit down. Nothing's happening. I'm bored. I'm like, they're running around for 45 minutes. Like, I don't know. It's kind of entertaining for me, at least. But I would hope that it starts to grow a little bit. I'm not the biggest soccer fan in the world, but even I can sit there and say I sat down and watched multiple games this World Cup because I was interested and I wanted to see what was going to happen. This felt open for the most part. I didn't know who was good. I didn't know who's bad. I was just like, okay, let's see what happens. I wanted the U.S. to win. They lost, bums, but that's besides the point. I think that as we go forward, this is only 4 years. You get 4 years to forget about it and think about it, back to it when it comes here. It's not going to probably be in America for a good long time. So I'm glad that it got the actual exposure in the country that it needed. And hopefully that makes people actually care going forward, because let's be so for real, this is a really cool tournament. Like, that's really fun to watch, especially if it only happens every 4 years. We talk about how much we love college basketball. Like, there's a reason why we love it so much. That tournament's really fun to watch. This tournament was really fun to watch. So if you checked out one game or you watched all of them, I hope you enjoyed it.
I need to make sure I watch the women next year, because like they're very much on the revenge tour, because they finally cycled out like their older generation, and with winning the gold, supposedly that was them being like, "Yo, we back." Ryan, I want to toss to you, mate. Because I genuinely want to know what you think, but also because there's something going on with Kyle's tech. Anywho, Ryan, though, you were kind of like me heading into this tournament. We were both like, it's soccer. But just based on your language, dude, you've been digesting it, and it feels like you've been reading up on some stuff too. I heard the language, I heard the vocab. Side note, go get a sports media degree so that you and I can be peers formally. Anyway, you can be like me and Jay. Anyway, digressing from that ADHD moment. Ryan, like I said though, you use the vocab. You know, like me, you were like, oh crap, I guess I'm actually entertained. Ryan, what did you think overall of this World Cup? Were you entertained, and does it pique your interest to check out any form of club or at least keep up potentially internationally?
So I enjoyed this tournament a lot more than I thought it was going to. Now I can't say I'm going to go root for a club team or watch the MLS, but when a major tournament comes around and it's on TV, I can see myself sitting down and kind of getting into it. You know, I'm kind of the same way with your cousin when like I get into a sport that I'm like not familiar with. Like I really try to digest as much as I can because I just get super into it. And I watched a lot more soccer this time around than I have in probably my entire life. I was thoroughly entertained with the entire outcome of the World Cup. I think it was a smashing success from everything that I've heard from a lot of people. I definitely think it's going to pique some interest in the younger generation to maybe get into soccer and maybe start developing, young stars for the U.S. that we can actually compete on like the big time with these big time teams. I think the future is bright for soccer in America. I think a lot of fans from outside the United States who came here saw the kind of passion that can happen when, United States fans get into it. And I think that's a really good sign for longevity of the sport outside of Europe and, the countries that's where it's big in. And I want to touch on the World Cup final itself a little bit. That game kind of felt like the U.S.-Canada gold medal game, where the U.S. was staying in that game because of their goalie, much like the hockey game was. But at this time, it's like Canada won the game. The better team did win that. And I kind of go back to what I heard on the broadcast afterwards, is that it was a win for soccer that Spain won. Because Argentina, once they went to 10 men, started trying to muck up the game, get physical, get a little chippy, get a little dirty, as some people said. So, I was enthralled watching that World Cup final. I didn't find it boring. I was very into it. I mean, I was really intrigued to see when Spain would score. That was kind of like my driving force to watching it. Like, all right, Spain. Like, I was really getting into it. I'm like, all right, let's get a goal here. Let's put Argentina away. So I found myself like relating Argentina to like the Chiefs, where I'm like, I just don't like your team for some reason. I just don't want you to win. So I found like my heel to kind of like get into the sport. Sometimes I need a heel to kind of like really root for a team. Like, there's nothing better than a good hate watch sometimes, and that's kind of how I am. And I found myself hate watching Argentina. I was like, come on, just Spain, put them away. So overall, I was way more into this than I thought I would, and definitely maybe slightly a soccer fan now. Can't say for sure, but I definitely am interested in seeing more international tournaments. That's where my kind of fandom's going to start lying, is big international tournaments. Yeah, I'm here for it.
That is, hold on, my damn mic. There we go. That is something that Mike Ryan did talk about on the Levitard show, that like he doesn't know if like club fandom will necessarily rise, but maybe international game fandom, which, like, I will say for the record, last year I was thoroughly 2 years ago. Sorry, it was 2 years ago. But 2 years ago, I was watching Copa America, because that was like Messi right after he won the World Cup, right after he signed with Inter Miami. He had just won the Leagues Cup with Inter Miami, and that was the first year of that tournament. That was just when he was just on like a bender of collecting cups and just belt to assing everyone. And then pandemonium happened in the parking lot of Miami after Colombia and Argentina in the Copa America. I do, because now I believe Canada and the United States, because I think that was part of and it was also the guinea pig for what their World Cup coverage would look like. But I think that's also part of the reason why there was more coverage of the Copa America a couple years ago on Fox, because I believe it was also the first time the United States got to participate, and I believe they got the belt taken out on them by probably Colombia or Mexico. But Christian was hurt, and he was just resting up.
Speak of a no-show who damaged his reputation.
Oh my God! Like
Wow.
Okay. Wait, no.
Change the time.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna pass it to Kyle, and then after this,
I want to come back to Christian.
yeah. We're gonna go to Kyle, and then we're coming back to Christian because I do actually want to talk about Christian because I do think soccer can take a leap. That dude, though, can no longer be the goddamn face of United States soccer. Moving on to Kyle, though.
Yeah.
All right. So first off, Matt, just be very careful when talking about 15-year-olds and exchanging money in America.
Okay.
Just want to say that first. No, I absolutely love this. I think the 48 teams was a rousing success because personally, I was really into, when it was the last day of the last rounds of group stage games and like trying to figure out who was going to be each of the third place teams that were going to make it in. It made it very intriguing to see like where the wild cards were going to show up. And I think also on a more grandscape level, I think there's something about sports like these, particularly world sports, that fit so well with like interesting storylines, right? I don't think we have the ability to get so like into the nitty gritty when it comes to like the NFL or like the NBA or the MLB. I think there's like some interesting stories, but like you don't see like a Bozinia, you don't see an Eloy Room from Curacao. You don't get those stories nearly as much as you do in like you don't get them in like the MLB and the NBA and the NFL as much as you get them in like a World Cup or a March Madness. The closest thing I would say in America to that, because you get these underdog teams that provide those storylines comparatively. Like you don't like a 7th seed in the NFL playoffs is not an underdog. Like technically they are, but it's not like they're like one of 32 teams. It's not like we're sitting here not knowing what this team is, right? So I think there's an advantage there of having these set pieces that you can talk about in the beginning, and then you get to those incredible games at the end, like Spain, France, like Norway, England, like Mexico, England, all these games, and even like we talked about earlier, Cabo Verde versus Argentina. Like you get the great stories at the beginning, and then you get the very interesting games at the end. So I think there is definitely room for it to grow in this country. I think this was, for the most part, a success. I think there was they tried. I believe they tried to mess it up at the end. If we're going to talk a little bit about the World Cup final, right? Because it was a really interesting match. It was Spain dominating for the most part, but I don't really think the chippiness of Argentina helped a lot of things. And like if for them to continue their status as the villain, that helped. But like the fact that the guy got flipped over, and while they were trying to figure out the right card situation, Messi's sitting here complaining that someone may have put their fingers on their lips for a second, and trying to equate that to the attack that happened against the Spanish player. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. And then the fact that afterwards they decided to start punching the Spanish players for no particular reason, only because they lost, when literally the Argentinian players were like not gracious winners at all against England or against their other team, Switzerland. Like they were not gracious winners. To also show that you are going to be a gracious loser at this end, it almost sours the whole the tournament. But Spain was such an amazing team to win. Everything was Lamine Yamal and his brother is so adorable. The fact that Torres was the one who got the goal, and he had stepped away from the game for a little bit due to mental health issues. And I believe he also at the end had a little celebratory shot on his dad, who he decided to he was supposed to be a player as well, but he stepped down in order to raise his son, who became a Spanish player. There's another player on the team who made the assist, whose mother 2,000 miles to a place where eventually she had him, and he gave her the medal that he got today. Like, there's a lot of amazing stories that
Nico
balances out.
Nico something. I forget what his last name is. I think.
Yeah, but like the fact that Argentina tried to pull that stuff at the end, like that was close to like leaving the World Cup with a stain. But you know, if it means that we as Americans, start hate watching other games, like now we have an idea of being able to hate watch Miami FC because of Messi, then like that's, hey, at least we can get behind some hate watching, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little worried about my newfound fandom of NYCFC though, because they are connected to two signings. They're connected to Lecau from the Belgian team. He's one of the older Belgian players who I think he scored twice against the U.S. in the knockout game, but he's one of the better Belgian players. But he might be going to MLS for, the classic, like, I dominated Europe, I'm going to go get a bag in America and then retire tour. The other player that, and this is a heck of a segue, get ready, Ryan. The other player that NYCFC is allegedly connected to coming out of this World Cup is
Christian
Pulisic.
Boo.
That's not just a shameless that's not just a shameless segue. It's not been confirmed. Also, nothing's been signed, but he might be leaving Europe because he's also not performing well in Serie A. And like Serie A, I believe, is in the limited understanding of like the clubs in Europe. It's part of the Big Five. It's like currently, I think, ranked third behind Premier and La Liga. Like, dude, if you're not like he was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be the guy, and he's not being the guy. Now it's looking like Balogun's the guy. And then I sent a video to Kyle. There's this kid. He's on, I think he's on LA Galaxy. He's 16. And
I think I know this kid.
He's 16, and he's on loan from, it's either Man City or Man U's academy.
I think it's Man City, I believe.
He's on loan from.
Didn't he sound like a contract to like 14 years old or something like that?
For Man City.
Yeah.
And like he's already performing well at the MLS, which like I know in league terms, MLS is, if there was a big six, I know that the MLS would be sixth. At the end of the day, though, he is a 16-year-old playing in a professional league, and he's beating adults. Like he can't.
Did his brother go through? His brother went through the program too, right? From MLS, I believe. I believe his brother went through the program as well.
You're more learned than me on that one. Enough on that lad who might be our future savior. Again, though, that's like I was saying earlier, that's a long-term thing. And I think that's going to be hard for American sport fans to grasp. You got to have a long view, which like I think because it's ingrained in Europe, it's easier for them to have that. But I think also it allows them to have a slightly healthier like fandom, if that makes sense. Digressing from that, though, let's actually talk about this douchebag because Christian Pulisic, he was dubbed Captain America. Oh, I'm so sad Kyle's gone. Hopefully he comes back, though. He was dubbed Captain America after the Qatar World Cup, where he literally scored a goal with his penis. That's not me being vulgar. That's a real thing that happened. You can look it up. He was supposed to be the top guy for the United States. He took the Gold Cup off, which is a full year before the damn World Cup, so that he could rest up for the World Cup. He was on Instagram during that during that Gold Cup, hanging out with the homies with his watch party in LA instead of watching with his team, or at least being on the damn sidelines, or at least being in the damn stadium. Since they lost to Belgium, which I know it's been 2 weeks ago, but we're Americans. Go America. We got to criticize you. This is how you know that soccer might stick in America. It's not being spoken about in niche ways. Like the way we're bashing the United States soccer team and Christian Pulisic is exactly how we would bash like our favorite player.
Yeah, exactly.
Like soccer is America now. Like, Jay, wake up. Soccer is America now. I mainly just said that for the joke. But Christian Pulisic sucks a bag of dicks, and here's why. So I know it was 2 weeks ago. Blah 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 blah. They got blown out by Belgium. They've been gone since. Just like, dear God, every single thing, and like Pochettino has to be thanking him because Pochettino. No one's talked about him. He did a terrible job coaching in that game. He deserves so much more blame than he's getting. But Christian Pulisic decided to open his stupid fat mouth. I know he's not actually fat. But like Christian, after the match against Belgium, said, yeah, the foot hurt, but now it's over and we'll have time to rest. Now it's over. And like he sounded relieved that they got eliminated. Are you kidding me? You're relieved you got eliminated, you goddamn loser? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're relieved you fucking lost? Forget you. You're the captain. You have the damn armband. Are you kidding me? You can't sound relieved like that. And then the injury comes out. It is a minor fracture, which for layman's, that sucks. That hurts. We're outsies, kaboutsies. An athlete, though,
You can play through that.
it hurts, but you can play through that. I know the following isn't apples to apples, but stay with me. Mitchell Robinson broke his damn pinky, and he was still suited up for game one.
Hockey players take pucks to the face and come back mid-game.
Like, what the hell are we doing? Because then also, we're trying to get the country into it. And like America loves America excellence. We're in trying to preach that we're great and we're excellent and stuff like that, especially in sports. We have all the money, we have all the resources, we've made up half these goddamn sports. American excellence. I cannot think of a more goddamn loser thing than you pulled yourself out over a tiny, for an athlete, a tiny boo-boo? Are you kidding me? Sorry that I hit the table and I shook it. But are you kidding me? You can't do that, man. And then also the fact that he's just so open with it. The fact that this is so open and out there. Who the hell is running PR? This tells me one thing. This tells me one of two things. One, they either have a moron running PR, or two, this is United States men's soccer saying, you got to earn it now, bum ass. You were supposed to be our guy. You scored one damn goal, and that was your second goal for all of 2026, including club play, which you're not playing well in club either. He is he's in all of the damn commercials. They put him in the Michelob Ultra commercials with Messi.
Huh?
He has no business being in those commercials with Messi, but he's in there because he's supposed to be the American star. He's in all he is going to enjoy 2 more years of the face of America soccer fandom because of this most recent World Cup. And unless he backs it up with play and starts balling the F out like he was, he's done. He's done. And Mike Ryan, I loved it. I got bricked up to it. It was bad. Mike Ryan talked about, I'm joking. Mike Ryan talked about it on Lebitard. He went in on him. This dude is so mentally fragile. This dude is so mentally fragile, and they have done so much mental protection around him. Both his PR team, his personal team, his athletic training team. He's so damn fragile also physically. God damn, he gets hurt all the freaking time apparently. And part of it is because they're so freaking fragile with him. And then on top of that, he's so damn emotionally fragile too. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Enjoy the MLS, dude. I might buy your jersey if you come to NYCFC. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yes, I am a sport fan in America. That means I am a hypocrite. That being said, though, so like I said, that's either the United States being stupid with their PR or them subliminally being, screw you, you got to earn it now, dude. Because he embarrassed United States soccer. He was not just supposed to be their guy. He was supposed to be like, hey, we don't just have someone who's our number one. We have a number one that competes with all of your guys across the goddamn pond. I was watching the clip of Landon Donovan scoring against Algeria, man. That still gets me excited. That still gets me pumped. That happened when I was in goddamn high school, and that was to get to the goddamn group stage. But like, and Landon Donovan was objectively not as talented as Christian Pulisic, but he still goddamn tried. He was still hustling. He was the one scoring that goal that was in added time, that was in stoppage time, that was like there's none of that. And these dudes are supposed to be the most talented. He's supposed to be the most talented. And it was just so damn sackless. And to bring it back to something I said earlier, guys, I'm not usually this guy. And like, this isn't even the overall point. I can't think of anything less freaking American than Christian Pulisic, dude. You were supposed to be the guy, but not only did you not step up, you cried. You cried, and then you were like, it'll be fine. He pulled a Giannis from 2 years ago. Hey, this wasn't a failure. This wasn't a failure. Giannis can say that. Giannis won the Larry O'Brien. Christian Pulisic, he's got his dick in his hand. All right, I'm done. Ryan, you go. I know we both hate this man.
Yeah, I just have a lot of respect for Carly Lloyd and Landon Donovan for calling him out in the media like they did. You are hosting the World Cup. The world's eyes are on you. Every nation is watching this. And for you to be the face of American soccer, to represent us, and to put on that pitiful performance after you've had a year to rest up, it's inexcusable. I mean, you cannot, under any circumstance, check yourself out of that game. Even if you're hurt, you have to gut it out. Messi's not checking himself out. Mbappe's not checking himself out. Yamal's not checking himself out. The best players in the world are not checking themselves out of that game. They needed to have broken their leg for them to leave that stadium. He's been coddled his entire career. He's not really had any eyes on him from the public, just because soccer, again, hasn't been the main focal point of the American sports, culture. I mean, I saw him in a video with Jamar Chase on YouTube. I was like, who are you? Like, you're supposed to be getting prepared for a tournament, and you're filming a video with Jamar Chase playing football, but you couldn't play in the Gold Cup? Like, what are we doing? You put pads on to play him. Like, actually ridiculous. Mentally weak, mentally fragile, didn't show up in the biggest games, was playing awful against Belgium before the injury. Let's just call a spade a spade. I think he turned the ball over 11 times in the first half. Like, you're supposed to be, again, the face of American soccer with the World Cup in our home country for the first time ever. And that's performance you leave the world with to kind of showcase what America's soccer looks like. No, that's not acceptable. If you want American soccer to grow, you cannot put that product out in the field. And when you do, you need to get called out and you need to own it. And which you did. You got called up, but you didn't own it whatsoever. It's been a radio silence since he was called up by Lloyd and by Donovan. He has not said a peep since. He's not even there to defend himself. I would respect him more if he actually came out and defended himself against those, but it's been radio silence. Like, you cannot be the face of American soccer and put forward a performance like that and carry yourself off the field like that too. Like, miss me with that. Like, this is not the guy I want leading American soccer going forward. Like, I don't even want him to make the World Cup team if that's how he's going to play and that's how he's going to hold himself, because it's a detriment to the team. It's a legitimate detriment, and it's an embarrassment for the national team to have him on the roster if that's how he's going to be.
Yeah. And like, building off of that, like, what's really annoying too is that, like, the United States, they got eliminated. The World Cup's over. The World Cup team, though, they always get offered, regardless if they win or not, to go visit the White House. They're going to go to the White House. They're going to go high five the president, which, like, this isn't about the president. This is about their presentation. They're going to go to the White House. They're going to shake hands with the president. And, like, Pulisic already has a good relationship with the president, which that is what it is. But, like, this was going to happen regardless of the president, and this is what gets me angry. They're going to be viewed, or, like, they're going to be presented as a success. They're going to be presented as, like, hey, it didn't end the way we wanted, but you did a good job, and you represented the country well, both in play and as a host, which, like, get the flying fuck out of here. What? Like, that's what pisses me off, because that's what we got coming up next. Which, like, look, I mean, like, thank you for your service, I guess, but, like, you weren't on the front lines. You weren't fighting the Axis powers. You were going up against an older Belgium team that, like, yeah, you got embarrassed. embarrassed, man. It was the
That
most
almost beats Spain.
like the most embarrassing game of the tournament. Yeah, Kyle.
Okay, so first off, put some respect on Belgium's name. Belgium was the only team that got a goal on Spain. And if not for their goalie who got hurt, things might have been a little bit different in that game. So I get the idea of being frustrated at Pulisic. I understand the idea of saying that this team underachieved. But I would like you to name me every single team that you think. Let me put it this way. How many teams do you think out of the 8 that the United States have actually beat? I'll wait.
No, Kyle. Like I'm not saying like, oh, we should have done better. Blah. What frustrates me is the hubris.
Well, that's what you did say.
Oh, then I missed.
But that is also what you did say. Yeah, because you're like, this is going to not be a success. It's going to be come off as not being a success, right? I'm not saying it was a success. I'm not saying this was a failure either. If the United States had lost 2-0 or 1-0 to Belgium, we wouldn't be so hard on them. If the fact that the frigging goalie didn't Youngwei Koo that shit, like we would be talking a little bit differently. But I think this also goes into the fact that yes, Pulisic is a very easy punching bag. All of the team fucking sucked that day. And that goes on the coach, that goes on the players. I was listening to Morelia Horn after the game. Ryan was basically like, okay, Mike Ryan was basically like, how about we just don't have these players on the team, right? Let's have a better standard of players, right? And this is hopefully with this particular World Cup, it might jumpstart. Like you were talking about the player who's 14 years old, who's on loan from Man City, right? There are going to be some players who are going to step up within the next 4 years. Does that mean it's going to be a better team than it was this year? Probably not. But also, we also got very lucky too with who we were drawing, and we did the best we could with what we had. I told you guys I was more worried about Belgium or Senegal than I was Spain or Portugal. Now, I might be a little bit wrong with Spain winning the whole entire thing, but Belgium was still a very talented team who we pissed off because we did enough fucking things. And it's funny that you were saying that Pulisic is doing something un-American by being this chosen one, yet not living up to his talents and then complaining about it. That's our fucking country right now, Matt. A lot of people who have a lot more power who probably shouldn't have it, and then not getting what they want and complaining about it. So he fits the American tie real perfectly right now.
Yeah, I'm more talking about the fake one that they talk about though, where we're excellent at everything. And my larger point though, Kyle, is yeah, it is how they lost, but that's part of it. They got embarrassed. And whether they deserved it or not, that's not really what I'm talking about. But they got embarrassed, and part of the reason why they got embarrassed, and no one played well, but he was, I believe statistically, the worst one out there. He was, and
the only one to check himself out of the game.
Yeah, he's the only star.
Can't do that.
The only star in all of the World Cup to check himself out.
No one played well. We're not denying that. You absolutely, no matter what the circumstances are you're hosting the World Cup, you do not check yourself out of that game. I don't care if it's a bone bruise or it's a microfracture. You need to have a broken leg and can't be carried off the field to be out of that game. I'm sorry.
No, and I do understand that, and I do understand the criticism he is getting. He deserves all of it. Guys, we were not a Pulisic away from winning that game, nor were we a Pulisic away from winning the championship. And I feel like it's kind of but hear me out real quick. I think all of the smoke that goes Pulisic's way is a cover up of knowing that we weren't ready, and we're probably not ready for at least another decade, right?
Yes.
So if we keep the attack on Pulisic, cool, we have a scapegoat. But that does not fix the problems with this team or the way that America takes care of soccer. So cool. Let's have our moment of bashing Pulisic and go for it. But then we have to be solutions oriented, right? Does that mean that Pulisic doesn't get another chance on the World Cup team? Hopefully that's the case. But also we start building towards. I keep hearing all the time from Mike Ryan that every single coach that has been in the World Cup, qualifiers and the cycle have all sucked and all have their flaws. So why can't we get a coach that actually can put us over the edge? If it seems like every single year we're getting a retread or somebody who has been certified as a loser, right? Why is the United States not a destination for these coaches who can build something? We have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with that, but also, Kyle, this is sport radio, so we're living in the immediate, not the
Yeah.
And in the
And also,
and
I'll say, like, the people who are saying that Pulisic's injury was the reason why we weren't going to win the World Cup or weren't close to the Belgium. Like, I hope that's not what people actually are upset about. I think they should be more upset. Like, the reason why is because you had your star check out on national stage. Like, that would be like, that legitimately would have been like Patrick Mahomes checking himself out of the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, like my point isn't, like, Kyle, you did say it. Like, we weren't a Christian Pulisic away, but like the result of the game is also kind of the point, because it's not just that they lost, it's like they got absolutely embarrassed. I know Belgium was better, I know, but it is also, like you also said, though, like that was probably, and yes, Christian is the scapegoat, but he also is probably a perfect bar meter in the sense of, like, it was shell shocking and it let you know, like, oh crap, that was supposed to be our guy, and we are still not worth more than like our dick in our hand. We need to reevaluate. That's what I hope happened. But right now, I'm talking about what happened in the match with the United States and then afterwards, because how they acted, like, that was just a bummer. Like, that was just a freaking bummer. I've never seen a team, like, I can't say that. I can't remember the last time I've seen a team of bums go out like that. I can't. Like, I genuinely can't.
I'd be okay with that.
The Philadelphia 76ers do it every year. Sorry, continue.
I was about to say, man, when the Knicks beat the Sixers. But Jay, as someone who's also a soccer,
wait, one last thing on that, if I can, right? Then how much of it is also on coaching? Right, because you said that with Pulisic,
1,000%.
Pochettino is no. But I'm also, what I mean by that is, yes, Pulisic did that on his own, but also has Pochettino created a vibe that allows him to do something like that?
Probably.
I think it's American soccer that's created that vibe for him to do that. He's been coddled since he was 14.
Yeah, which, like I did say in the beginning, Pochettino is skating. Like, he absolutely skated. But
I don't think the culture was set by Pochettino. I think the culture was set by U.S. national development that coddled him since he was 14 years old.
Because also, like, this was supposed to culminate in this moment. It was supposed to culminate in 2026, led by Christian, who's 27 and in his prime. And then instead, he peed. He peed everywhere.
Down his leg.
And he had asparagus right before. So naturally, it smells rancid. Jay, like me and Kyle, not Kyle, because Kyle actually cares about the World Cup prior to this. But like me and Ryan, you're new to soccer. We're talking about the man who's supposed to be Captain America. He's supposed to be the top of the team. I know this was 2 weeks ago, but like, dude, he was supposed to be the top of the team, and he just he pooped, and like, embarrassing. Like, Jay, I want to get your take, but then also, like, can you think of, like, the last time, I don't want a hypothetical. Can you think of, like, the last time a star athlete, like, did something like that? Like, they're just like, you know what? Bye.
I can answer your first question first. I'm going to have to rack my brain if I can remember.
Rest of the chat, think of that question too. That second question.
Oh, I do have an answer.
I think for me, with him, with I'll start with Team USA as a whole, and even the whole beginning part, because I think you can't talk about this team without saying, hey, like, Balogun was not supposed to play in this game, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, Mr. Trump made a little phone call, and all of a sudden he's okay to play. So, like, I didn't love that, because it kind of set the stage for, like, you're in a lose-lose situation. Like, you win that game, it's, oh my gosh, you have favors, you're cheating. You lose that game, everybody's, okay, cool, no harm, no foul, but you look silly. You had to sit there and get someone who shouldn't have even played in that game back. That's like if the president said, "Hey, can Draymond Green play Game 5 back in 2016?" Like, that's not happening. That's not happening. I mean, I know, Ryan. I know you're fine with that. I'm just saying that's like if you call and say, "Hey, can Draymond play Game 5?" That shouldn't happen. So I think already with that, I was already on the fence because I was just like, sure, like I'm gonna sit there and like do my whole American thing and be like, look, we won, but at the same time, I know it's from not a genuine place. So now, I'm not gonna say I was hate watching. I was not rooting for Team USA to lose at all, but it kind of they got the justice they deserved. Now, on the fact of like the team played horribly and they got embarrassed, I do believe this for across sports. There is a fraction, and when I mean fraction, I think it's less than 5%, less than 3%. Of athletes that genuinely do not care about win or loss unless it's on the winning side. They don't really. It's more of like that front running attitude, even though they're at the peak of their sport, right? I've seen this with my Sixers a lot of times, which is why I said like the Sixers do it every year. Like sometimes the Sixers know they're tired. To your credit, Matt, with the Knicks Sixers series, that team was tired, and I kind of looked at this team after Game 2, and I was like, they don't want to play basketball anymore. Like emotionally, physically, they were checked out after Game 7 of the Boston series. They don't want to play basketball anymore. I didn't see that right away. I think when Belgium scored first, it kind of like opened up that wound, and they were like, "Oh, okay, hang on, this wasn't supposed to happen. Like we're finally losing for the first time. Like this shouldn't be this shouldn't be a thing." And then they got one back, so it felt better. It's like, okay, now we just gotta play our game again. And then right after that, another goal. And that's where it felt like, oh, I can't make that joke. That's where it felt like that second plane hit. And it was like, okay, this isn't just an accident. This is war. Like we got to fight for something or we're going home. And I think that's the hard part is for me, especially when we talk about making fans in America, the home team can't go out like that. Yeah. I've watched my Sixers team lose in Wells Fargo. I've watched Trae Young torment my team in Wells Fargo. I watched Jalen Brunson do it. I watched Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum do it. It sucks. It's annoying. It's depressing. You got to sit there and be like, wow, this is really in front of our fans, our family. That's not fun. And that's kind of what it felt like after watching that game, where you had all the bricks go your way before the game, just for you to throw it all away. Not the goalie. Like we didn't even get to him yet. Like you can't do that.
Young Wei Kudit.
You have one job. You have to be you. It's the one job where you can't mess up, right? Pilots, police officers, goalie. That's it. You can't make a mistake. You're not allowed to make a mistake. There's those three things. You made a mistake. Like there's a very hierarchical way of like pointing fingers for this for sure. But I just think as a team as a whole, they gave up. That first goal went in, they saw that hit the back of the net, and they were like, I don't want to play soccer anymore.
Yeah, like just how quickly they just like gave up. Like that's the other thing. Like, damn, dude. Like doing that in a club sport. Look at me using football lingo. But like doing that in like a club sport, like there's doing that in like a league, in like the NFL or like the NBA and stuff like that. And I feel like that's one thing. It's inexcusable, but like I feel like that's one thing because that's for like I know it's named after cities, but these are private entities. These are private clubs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Doing that though for your nation,
rough.
Like I know that internationally we don't like we love being prideful, but we don't as a country necessarily care in the same way as say European countries do in things like FIFA, FIBA, and other things of that nature. But at the same time, like what am I trying to say? Oh, damn it, my brain, ADHD. I hate myself. What am I trying to say? What was I just saying? Damn it, I hate my life.
Something
America rooting. Something about country.
Pride, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh god damn it.
We don't care as much as a country.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. We like the winning, but like we don't care with the same like consistency as like other countries. And then I forget where I was going from there. I'm so pissed off. Don't have ADHD. Get Vyvanse, kids. The United States soccer. What were we talking about before that? I'm really upset. I hate my ADHD so bad.
It's not like
team effort. Yeah.
About the way the U.S. went out.
Oh yeah. There we go. I remember now. So like I know like internationally we don't care with the same consistency as like other countries, or per se with the same fervor, even in sports that we quote unquote own, like a basketball and like a hockey and stuff like that. But like that shit still matters to those guys. The fact that the United States won the first gold since 1980, beating the Soviets, that means that's gonna mean as much as a Stanley Cup to some of those dudes. Like that's gonna mean so much. The goal, like I know that LeBron and Melo, they have like 4 each and stuff like that, and I know that they don't mean as much as the Larry O. But like those golds mean something. Like those golds mean something. When they go to play for the United States, they don't quit. Like I remember when the United States won bronze in 2004. Yes, Jay, I know you were probably not even born, but I remember when the United States. Oh, were you too? Oh, damn. Too. But I remember when the United States won bronze in that Olympics in basketball, and they were furious. And then in 2008, you had the Redeem Team, which was the Redeem Team. That was awesome. Prime Kobe, prime LeBron, the return of D Wade from an injury, prime Dwight,
red rough shot.
And what I'm trying to say though with with these teams is that like they came from like private clubs where like the interest is maybe more self-interest in those sports, but when it came to representing the country, it was like, yo, dude, we're putting on some Kevlar and we're going to war, and like it just felt like this team did not freaking do that, which like. That's the first time I've ever seen the United States men's soccer team do that. I know they've not typically been better. Like they're not typically good. But like, man, that Landon Donovan team that barely got by Algeria, they were willing to die in that match.
That's it. That's a reflection of their leader, Christian Pulisic. Yeah. That team is a reflection of their leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have an answer to your question, though. You were asking about a player checking himself out. Not quite, but Jay Cutler, NFC Championship game when he sprained his knee. That's the one that comes immediately to mind because he could have gone back in that game and chose not to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes. Now, Jay. Okay, go.
Go first. That's cool. All right. I was gonna talk shit.
I want to push back real quick on this idea of like the NBA and hockey. Like, yes, should we win those? Yes, but also. Matt, we're going into those things, if not the number 1 team of a bullet, at least top 5 to top 3. Like, yes, like it was incredible that we beat Canada in the hockey finals, right? But it's not like we were like team 20, right? I think there's a difference between what we're seeing with those versus what we see in soccer, because these players who are in soccer, they're playing on these club teams, and they aren't like, some of them are starting, some of them not. They have, like, I understand the idea of like the ego mentality when it comes to athletes, but also they're not stupid, right? If they are a second string on a club team and they're going up against players in the World Cup that are starting on those world teams, like, yes, they always want to come in thinking that they might have a chance, but they're not stupid, right? Like, there's a difference between us going into this tournament being a top 5 team and us being a borderline top 10, top 15 team. Again, it goes back to expectations. And I'm not saying that equates for them to just give it up, but dude, I think it's an overall vibe thing. And then also the fact that you have someone put their foot in their mouth by trying to get a card rescinded. And also, again, we keep forgetting this little part, right? They said Trump did say if they lose, this is going to be right up there with the 2020 election, right? Like, there is something to the fact that you don't have like that there has to be realistic expectations, but also the fact that we have someone crazy leading us who are trying to put all these different expectations on there as well. And again, don't forget that there was a Belgium who's pissed off because this happened, and then also because your president has said that Belgium was a shithole country, right? That is all a powder keg of us getting our ass kicked.
Like, I get that, Kyle, but like what I'm talking about though is like their overall effort. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like they should have tried, like, and I'm not just saying they should have tried harder because of America. Like, Kyle, like Ryan said it, the second that first goal got scored, they pooped, which I'm sorry, I don't care if you know that that guy is better than you. Like, you can't perform like that.
Got to rise to the occasion.
Like that's one of the most basic and fundamental things in sports.
If that's the case, 6 teams would never beat a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Well, okay, no, but okay. So let's do the comparison right now. Who's the 12th? Let's go 16th best NBA team. 16th best basketball team in the world. What would we say is there?
Oh, fuck me! I don't
just
know.
from any country.
Any country?
Turkey.
Yeah, probably Turkey.
Probably Turkey.
Let's go Turkey. I don't see Turkey being competitive against the NBA, against the American team. And it's not for lack of trying. It's because there's just better players, right? Like, and it's not, and there is some deflation. Like, you see these games, you see the America winning by 30 points, by 20 points on occasion, right? And again, it's not necessarily lack of trying. There is just a talent gap. Sometimes you get these teams on the off night and you can make it work. You put all these powder kegs together, and like, yes, I am very disappointed with how they perform. I get that, but it's not to me. To me, I just feel like there's just a unrealistic expectation to what had happened, and I think again a comic. What do you call it? It's just chock full of errors, right? Yeah, chock full of errors, right? You know, like, if we didn't have a goalie again, Younghoe Koo, I think like we would have seen this. I think that made it look a lot worse than it was, and it is really bad. You can't have something happen like that. But I think it's also because we can pinpoint these little things in the game that makes it look absolutely disgusting and makes it look like we are a clown show. When, like, look, we weren't a clown show when we lost 3-2 to Turkey. We weren't same way as we weren't this dominating force when we beat Paraguay 4-1, right? There's a middle ground, and unfortunately, we had our worst game at the worst possible time.
It's also though that it was also the worst game of the cup. Like, I know that Canada.
I beg to differ on that.
Well, Kyle, who else got embarrassed like that? Like, I know Canada lost 3-0, but like Canada was at least competitive for some of that game.
If you're talking about the knockout stages, I will agree with you there. But the worst game, like Germany beat Curacao 7-1. New Zealand.
Yeah, we're not. Those don't count.
I mean knockout. That's cheating. The group stage.
No, but I'm using your words, my friend.
Yeah, you're right. I know, that's on me.
It was the worst game that actually, I hate to say it, mattered.
Yes. Oh yeah, 1000%.
But I
look at every one of Turkey's games.
Let's get Jay in here.
I also feel like that's like going to the movie theater and smelling the popcorn just to find out the machine doesn't work. Like, that's what that game felt like. Like, you got the, oh man, Bellingham's gonna play. Oh look, America's cheating. Like, it felt like, oh look, it finally works out for us, and then they just got walked down the entire game. Like, that's what is more disappointing, because it's like, okay, now they're gonna get this break. But what I was gonna say earlier was, I also think it was like pressure. Like, obviously they're playing a real team, right? But if they win that game, the expectation just gets thrown onto the next one, because then it turns from, okay, let's see what happens, to now go win the entire thing. Like realistically speaking, their time in the World Cup was going to be over either that week or the week after. But like for grip, it felt like if you're going to win this game, you might as well. It's kind of like what we say that we went down to AC the first time, and we were like, if you're going to lose, get out the way. But if you're going to win the whole tournament. Yeah. Like, I think that's kind of what it felt like. Like, okay, you get a game here, you might as well just at least go to the final. So them losing is what it is. But it's just like I said, you gassed everybody up. People went out to the bars, painted their faces. People don't do that. They didn't do that. Well, some of them did that for the 4th of July. But everyone got
which I will say in what I think is in agreement with Kyle. That's kind of on us noobs. That's kind of us.
100%.
Kind of on us.
I will say though, if we did beat Belgium, I mean, a lot of fans might not know this, but like at that point, I think we're playing with house money because that's the first we would have ever advanced in a World Cup finals.
Right. It would have been the first time since 2002 we made the quarterfinals. Jake,
So I feel like already like there, that's a win, because remember, all we say is this isn't even our sport. This isn't even our sport. So if you all of a sudden get that far, it's like, man, we won a game in the knockout round, and this isn't even our sport. This is our 5th sport. No one watches this. No one plays this. Like, I think that's kind of where the disappointment came from with a lot of American fans. But it was like, I spent all this money on a ticket to support this team, and they lost in Seattle of all places. They lost in Seattle, and even losing a cool state. Lost at the edge of the country. Could have played in Canada. No one would have known. That was a waste of time. But
cool stadium.
I don't know.
That stadium was beautiful.
Yeah, it is a nice stadium. But I just, that was with me. I was just like, okay, I actually have cause and meaning to watch the country that I've lived in my entire life. As much as I don't like the things that happen here, hey, like, I actually get to root for somebody, and they did that, which was really funny. I'm not gonna say it wasn't, but it was just like, dang, even I smelled the popcorn too, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll get some M&Ms and call it a day. So
yeah, Kyle, we've been having some good old fashioned back and forth and disagreements, a hurly-burly, if you will. Do you have anything you want to add? Because if you don't, I do actually want to ask you specifically a question. Oh no, God's not real. He probably is somewhere with bad service. I am very, I know that I mentioned it earlier with Brooklyn FC, but I am sincerely going to watch the MLS on Wednesday when NYCFC plays Cincinnati. That should be good. I think I think MLS is really going to try and seize on this too, because they finally worked out their deal where they no longer have the Apple package. So now if you have Apple TV, Apple Plus, whatever the hell it's called, you can just watch the games, which means I'm going to abuse my mom's subscription.
There you go.
I'm gonna and like my mom also is like, I'm gonna be an NYCFC fan too. I was like, all right, mom. I was like, let's go, mom.
W bomb.
Oh yeah. We're also excited because the Puerto Rican U17 national team became the first Puerto Rican soccer team to qualify for a World Cup. Digressing from, yeah, it was cool. I was like, oh damn, look at us go. We play baseball and soccer. Who knew? But I'm definitely going to be watching that. I have an ESPN Plus subscription, so I'm going to be able to watch the USL. So I do want to check that out. So I am going to be checking that out. And if I have time, I do want to drive out to Colorado Springs, A, to check it out, but then also B, because they got a USL team out there. Kyle, can you hear me? Because this has hopefully set up my question.
I don't think so.
All right, that sucks.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can hear you. Did you want to button anything before I ask you the question I have?
What am I buttoning?
We're same topic, same convo.
No, I just, again, I got what I said. Like, I understand where people are frustrated, but I think we had just weird expectations in general with this team. And it's kind of like, honestly, Ryan, it's like rooting for the Bills. You're going to get heartbreak at some point.
Yeah.
Kill me.
So Kyle, this question and this specific discussion point, it's a little specific for you. You were the person in our chat that was like, "Hey, the World Cup's coming up. Hey, the World Cup coming up." You were listening to Morally Abhorrent more regularly than me, and you were more in tuned and just paying attention to this from the very get go than everyone in our chats. I know that I've talked about rooting for NYCFC and Brooklyn FC. And I know that we've talked about this offline, but Kyle, are you going to pick a club? Are you going to keep up with soccer post this World Cup? Sorry for cutting.
I would definitely love. No worries. I would love to. I am in the market, and it feels nice to like finally be in a market where I could like, ooh, I have all these suitors and stuff like that, right? Growing up as a Yankees, Bills, whatever you want to call it, fan, there's been some good moments. There's been some heartbreak, but now I can actually check and see what I want. That feels, and like not be like constricted to where I live. It sounds awesome. So I definitely want to get into like what you're saying, the USL. I also would like to check out like the Premier League as well, just because I know that like that's a lot of what is like the good quality talent that we're going to be seeing in the World Cup going forward, right? And just being on top of all that stuff, right? So I'm going to take like a week or so just to like digest and then figure out and then go from there.
Oh yeah. So fun fact, and Ryan, this might get you interested. So USL, they have different leagues, and starting in 27 or 28, they're adopting a more European style of like relegation and things of that nature. So they have like their main league is the USL Champions. Then I think it's like USL 1. That's like their like second tier, and then they have like a third tier or something like that. There is a second tier USL team called Buffalo FC.
Oh hell yeah! Honestly, I can get behind that.
There is and with relegation coming in a couple years, that means in a couple years they might be in the championship league. But there is a Buffalo team,
just like the lacrosse team.
Oh yeah, like Jay. Where do the Philly United play?
Chester.
What?
Where's that?
Chester.
Not Philly.
It's not in Philly.
I kind of know where that is, and that is not in Philly.
Chester is in, I believe, Bucks County, I want to say.
That's where Jordan lives.
Yes, they live pretty much like So Philadelphia is the bottom right corner of the state, right? It's like this little chunk right here, and then it's like 3 counties that are right on top of it, which is Delaware County, Montgomery County. I'm from Montgomery County, Bucks County, which are kind of like it's such a stupid state. I hate how it's set up. But Chester is like right on like the border of Bucks and Philly. So if you're ever in, I guess, southern parts of Philadelphia / Bucks County, go to a Union game. I don't know who does it.
Say, do they have their own stadium, or do they like play at like a college or something?
Yeah, I believe they have their own stadium. So, that's part of the reason why they're not in Philly is just because they needed the space, and they weren't going to put a soccer stadium down where the sports complex is. So they said, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to put it outside, which there's no real space to put an arena anyway. Like even the Sixers are trying to figure out where they want to put theirs.
Yeah,
it was going to be downtown in the city, which would have been horrible, but they changed that idea. So
I'm super jazzed for NYCFC because they have their new stadium and it's being built right next to Citi Field.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, no, like it's called Etihad Park. It's that big Abu Dhabi brand that's all over.
Oh yeah, the plane.
Yeah. I genuinely don't know how you pronounce that. But like, because it's like the same owners as like Man City and stuff like that. I guess that's why they have the naming rights. But that's going to be open in 2027. And like, gents, it looks legit. Oh my God. Which, like, I will say, Citi Field is gorgeous. And like, they just got to put more out there and build more stuff out there because like Citi Field is gorgeous. It's got a bunch of really nice bars in Citi Field that are even operating during the off season and stuff like that. If they added MLS, which starting in the 27-28 season, it's switching to Premier League format, meaning it's going from fall to spring. So it's following a Premier League schedule. I need to wrap this up soon because I am getting a headache and a migraine. But it'll be open in 27, and it's gorgeous. Like like the renderings look incredible, which means like it's probably going to be awesome. And like New York is fresh off of hosting the World Cup, and then they get a shiny new stadium. Okay, cool. And it'll be next to Citi Field, which it is so easy to get to Citi Field. It is so easy to get to Citi Field. If you're poor, just take the 7 train. That's what I do. If you have money, get on the LIRR. The LIRR takes you 25 minutes, but it also costs you $25. The 7 train, it'll take you like 30, 45 minutes, but it'll cost you like $3. But like, it is super easy. It's super accessible. Like granted, the team's got to be good, but like it could be really cool. Like, I definitely want to fly back and check out that stadium. I'm a big fan of new stadiums. Look at us. It's been 90 minutes and we've talked only about soccer. And
impressive.
That's shocking.
And we barely even touched on the actual final.
Yeah, we could probably touch on the final.
We talked a little bit about the final. I'll push back on that. We talked a little bit about the final. But like, let's talk more about that final because it was an impressive match. Like especially from Spain, and it's funny. Like it is at least to me, this is absolutely wild, and I think it goes to show you how good of a World Cup this was. There were so many stories, there were so many stars that like when it was all said and done, I did almost forget that goalie only allowed 1 goal and that Spain secretly had the best defense of the entire World Cup.
It's wild. It's because also look at the murderous road that they went through, right? They went through Portugal, they went through France, they went through like 3 or 4 of the top 10 teams in the world, and to only give up 1 goal throughout all that's impressive. It's yeah. I don't know where it stacks up for like the rest of World Cup history, but that has to be up there with one of the most dominant runs ever. Like the fact that you had Argentina with Messi and they had no shots on goal, that's impressive. And I will say, like, we talked about this in the chat once we got to the Final Four of I honestly thought that England was going to take out Argentina because Argentina, up to most of this time, they have been a individual leading red pack versus a full-fledged team. And I really thought, and it looked really good for a little bit, that that England was going to win that game because they were the deeper team, and then they just let it happen, right? They just let Argentina get back in, which was insane. But even as good as Spain was, and they were really dominant, as we talked in the chat, like Messi, I threw out there like you tell me Messi has 15 minutes to score 1 goal. He likes those odds, and he almost did do it. So, an incredible final. Again, marred a little bit by some roughhousing and some shenanigans. But hey, like the fact that we almost went to a shootout in that game, that's super cool.
If it went to shootout, I think Argentina wins that game, and no one wants to see that.
Yeah,
nobody.
Whenever sports go to shootout, I always hear like people complain about it because they're like, oh, that's not the sport. But like my pushback is like, bro, someone's got to freaking win and stuff like that. But like I will say with that game, if that game went to a shootout, that would have been really disappointing because like, damn, like yeah, man, like not getting a single shot on goal,
And you win.
and then you win like that sucks. Like that would have been a bummer.
Now I'll ask something to Kyle, who may know more about this than me. This was really my first time watching Yamal play. And I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed. I wasn't impressed with his game throughout that match against Argentina. Is he still injured, or is this just like his age just like showing that he's like maybe not ready for like a moment like that?
So from what I understand, it might be a little bit of both. I know that Yamal was limited during the group stage, and that's kind of how we got our Cabo Verde story, because Yamal wasn't playing most of that game. I think it's also the fact that that team is so deep and young. Like some of the other players who are making big contributions aren't even in their 20s. Spain has always been some of the thing on Spain, and the reason why I kept seeing that everyone was saying that they were the second best team to win after France was because of their age and because of their inexperience. If anything was going to trip them up, it was going to be that. And Yamal wasn't necessarily the person that he didn't have his star turn, I would say, comparatively to some of these other players. But that also seems like it has to do with the system itself, right? It seems like they're a team that is going to suffocate you and then just wait for the perfect opportunity to get a goal, right? Because they know if they get a goal, they're going to be fine. It's very hard for another team to tie it, let alone win the match after that. So I think he still has plenty of room. This gives him at least the first World Cup that he needs to start his legacy. And again, I think he's still only 18. So, like, it's not like he has plenty of room to grow and come into his own as a player.
So he's 19, but he only recently turned 19. And fun fact about Lamine Yamal, and it is funny that you say all that, Ryan, especially considering what his projections are supposed to be in terms of like his talent level and stuff like that. Do you want to hear a crazy stat about Lamine Yamal and like how good he already is and how good he is projected to be?
Yeah, hit me with it.
He has already played 1,100 more match minutes than Messi did at that age.
Wild.
Yeah. So like I'm not saying he's gonna be Messi or Ronaldo, but like he is like, and I also don't necessarily know if he's gonna win a World Cup. That's probably gonna be his only World Cup because winning two,
tough.
Like winning,
really tough.
Like winning two, that's like winning 2 Lombardis. That's really hard, man. Like that's really hard. But like in terms of like I think as like Ronaldo, Neymar, as like the Ronaldos, the Neymars, and the Messis age out and get cycled out, I think Lamine Yamal is going to be part of like that new generation of like those like moniker like soccer names that you just like, oh, you're talking about the greatest soccer player in the world. You know, like I think of immediately him. I mean, it's not a moniker because it's 2 names, Lamine Yamal. But like I think, which fun fact, that's not even his full name. His full name is like 10 goddamn words. I think the first 2 I immediately think of, Lamine Yamal and Haaland. Oh, I completely forgot about Mbappe. Shame on me.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? I think it's because Mbappe is kind of already a star.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I was thinking like of like Lamine Yamal and like Haaland. But like no, Mbappe is also in there. Mbappe, because like Mbappe, if anything, he's the leader of that. Mbappe is like less than 50 goals away from breaking 500, and he's not even 30.
Yeah. So I just hear like people talking about Yamal as like already the best player in the world. I know there's a small contingency who view him like that. I just watched the game, and I just felt like he just looked kind of out of place. He looked young. His decision making wasn't great. He turned the ball over in the attacking zone multiple times, and like he looked like he mishit the first shot that he had that got redirected almost in. Like I just wasn't impressed with his game, and I was just like, this is the guy. There are some people are calling the best player in the world, and like as my first exposure, I was like, maybe I'm missing something, but I just wasn't like impressed with his game overall. I just thought like his age and his youth really showed up in that match.
Yeah, I will say that was kind of the ironic thing about this match in a tournament that was kind of at least in my opinion, and one could argue that was defined by like all of the stars showing up at some point. No star really showed up. Messi was held in check, and then Lamine Yamal kind of like, meh. I will say Lamine Yamal does have pretty impeccable footwork. There were times where he had the ball and he was dribbling around some dudes. I was like, damn. But also like I have 2 left feet to begin with.
I think we all do.
Yeah, seriously. Like I said, that's why we all talk in front of mics, except for Jay. Jay wins in intramural.
It's like swinging around 2 boat paddles with these things, man. That's insane.
It is kind of like, man. And then did any of you guys watch the 3rd place game between France and England?
She was on crack.
Dude, it was on crack. That
She was on crack.
Fun. Everyone
6-4?
scored.
6-4.
Everyone. I think Harry Kane was like the only person on England that didn't score.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but like
Kind of that the whole tournament.
Oh yeah, Bellingham scored though. Mbappe got the golden boot.
Did he have 2 or 1?
He got 2.
He had 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he had 2. Like that was fun, and like it was really funny going into that match. I don't know how much World Cup coverage any of like your sports media talked about this, but like going into that match, everyone was just kind of like, meh, it's the 3rd place game. That was a lot of goddamn fun.
Trying to be arguably the best match of the entire World Cup.
That was so much fun. Jay, did you watch it?
I think a lot of people, if they thought that was soccer, they'd watch it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a part of me that wonders if like that's closer to what like club is like in the sense of like more of a talent disparity. Maybe. I don't know.
More wide open.
We just started caring. Not watching, caring. We've been watching for a while. Jay, I had a question, but I forgot it. So
no, I remember. It was I didn't see any of the game. I was out. I was out Saturday and I had to work Sunday. So I was paying attention to the World Cup final on my phone. But then nothing happened until the end. So I was like, oh. I was so excited, like, oh man, this is gonna be a really good game. But I think that's what happened with a lot of people where they said the final was boring because the 3rd place game was like ridiculous and it kind of jazzed everyone up.
So good.
The popcorn again and didn't work. So oh well.
Yeah. I know we beat it to death between me, Kyle, and Ryan, but like that was not a boring game. That was a good game. I know it was 1-0, but like that was like that wasn't like when Americans go LOL soccer, like it usually results in 1-0. That was not an LOL soccer.
Yeah.
I am getting lightheaded because it was 100 degrees here in Colorado. It was a hoot and a holler. I do want to start wrapping stuff up though. A whole show about soccer. How about that?
We're revolutionary.
Look at us, guys.
It'll be NFL soon enough.
Oh, seriously, American.
Matt, we can't leave this though without talking to Jay finally about Jaylen Brown.
You're right. Because Jay, the last time you were here, shame on me. Good catch, Kyle. Good catch. The other big story, I know that since the NBA has exploded with a bunch of trades, but arguably the biggest trade that has happened involved what some would categorize as a highway robbery. And Jay, in case you were wondering, we already spent 30 seconds laughing at the Celtics when it happened. Don't worry, Jay. We did the Lord's work and we laughed at them. But Jay, 2.5 weeks ago, the Philadelphia 76ers made arguably their greatest trade in franchise history. You could probably give more context on that. When they got freaking Jaylen Brown essentially for packing peanuts in the form of playoff P. I think they also got 2 draft picks and 2 pick swaps as well. A terrible trade for Boston. Any way you slice it. Boston is broken. I know we were talking a little bit about it before we went on air. You were drinking Boston Sport Radio tears, which I know they're delicious.
I think we all were.
Jay, you have a shiny new star in Philly to lead your team. Like, you guys, like, I don't know how far up in the East the Sixers now are. I don't think they're in the play-in anymore, though. I think they are very firmly out of the play-in, and they're out of the play-in in the positive direction. Jay, I didn't even know you guys were in it, but you won the Jalen sweepstakes. How are you doing?
So I'll tell you about my first initial reaction, and then I'll break down how the trade process in my brain. So first, everybody's waiting for the Jaylen Brown trade to happen. So I'm sitting here, kicking it, waiting for something to happen, waiting for sports news, and I see Shams Charania breaking news ESPN on my phone. I said, okay, let's see what happened. I see Jaylen Brown has been traded too, and I see PHI. There's only one team that starts with PHI. And I said, oh my gosh, we traded VJ Edgecombe. Like, that's the first thing I'm thinking. I'm like, we just lost VJ Edgecombe. So then I click on the notification and I read the first sentence, breaking news. The Boston Celtics are sending Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers for Paul George. And I was waiting for the comma player name. And then I saw first round draft picks and I stopped breathing because there was no way, there was no way that happened. There was no way you just ended up just gifting Philadelphia, your highest leading scorer of the past year, dragged your team to a 2 seed, to the team that just not only beat you 3-1 in the playoffs, but one of your if it's probably second biggest rival after the Los Angeles Lakers. What are you doing, bro? So I'm like, okay. After I figured out how to breathe again and I could regain consciousness, I was like, okay, I need to send this everywhere. So, I'm breaking this down. Paul George going to Boston. It's a salary dump, but the big thing in my brain was like, what happened in this deal? Why did Boston all of a sudden feel like they need to pretty much salary dump Jaylen Brown? I went down a rabbit hole for about 7 days trying to figure out what went into this trade. Pretty much Boston's under new management. They realized they're going to have to pay Jaylen Brown an extension in another 2 years, and they didn't want to do that. But Paul George is just a year cheaper, but he's getting the same money. Like, he gets off his deal a year earlier than Jaylen Brown does. So I was like, this still doesn't make sense. And then to trade him to Philadelphia it's just a stupid reason for a salary dump if you're Boston. And then the picks aren't even much better. You get 2 first and 2 second, one being a swap. So pretty much you have to hope that this pick falls in between 1 and 9. If it doesn't, it is now a swap. You do get to pick the better of the two, but you don't even necessarily get the unprotected pick. Like, there's a chance that's just like a 15 pick, a 12 pick, who knows? And then the 2 seconds is like, cool, you get 2 seconds. I imagine Boston will still be competitive. I don't necessarily think that this is just like we're just going to tank and get something good trade. This is more of like we're going to get money off the books and hopefully do something after that. But it just felt like you can't even make that decision for another 2 years anyway. The math hasn't fully mathed in my head, but as a Sixers fan, I'm excited. I think Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Joel Embiid are much better than Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser for Boston. So Jaylen Brown's going to have a lot more help, assuming Embiid stays healthy. Even if not, I still think you have a really good backcourt with VJ and Tyrese. You have Fallon coming off the bench. You have Anthony Simons coming off the bench. You still need a backup big. I don't really know what LeBron's doing, but he'll figure it out.
Do you want LeBron?
Not really, but
okay, stop going after him. Leave him for me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not up to me, but if
that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't
give me this.
Yeah, you can have it. I don't really want LeBron. I prefer we get a solid backup big because I think that's what we need.
I just think the fit for LeBron and Philly is just weird.
I agree. And someone said it on the radio. They were like, I don't want to see him in a New Jersey.
I feel like it's a better fit than Cleveland, though.
Even like the offensive fit is just weird.
I think it's all smoke. I don't think Philly are seriously in it. Like, I think that was I think that was just a sentence because LeBron was bored one day and had to say something.
Well, John did come on and say it's down to Philly, Miami, and Cleveland.
Well, okay, so Matt, you might remember this because this happened last week, right? But do you guys remember when LeBron was talking about Memphis, right? Where he wouldn't want to go to Memphis or Milwaukee, right? Mm-hmm. And what was something else he said in that? He says he doesn't even like going back home. So I don't know why Cleveland is one of these options when he doesn't even like going back there. And also, I would say between these three, and I hate to say it, Ryan, I don't know if Cleveland's closer to a championship than Miami or Philly is at this point.
I think they're closer than Miami. There's no shooting in Miami. None whatsoever. They can't stay on the floor.
But who do you take that? If you were to have somebody, a coach, right, that is going to be able to get the most out of LeBron.
My coach doesn't count. My coach is a walking dummy. Like we don't count that.
Analytically,
that's also
the best.
Analytically,
We're the best team in the league.
But unfortunately, that is something to it, right?
Yes, please.
Like when I trust,
give LeBron 15% of the team and call it a day. Give him equity in the team.
Oh,
Minority owner.
Okay, wait, hold it. Do you want LeBron in a Bill Russell role, being player and coach?
Oh God, no.
he
No,
essentially is.
Oh, he's such a bad talent evaluator, though. Like,
Yeah.
he's sneaky, not a good talent evaluator.
No.
A lot of these players aren't good talent evaluators. Look at what Jordan did with
Yeah,
Will
exactly.
Charlotte.
Like
All these guys just can't evaluate talent.
You know who was like who's an NBA great that was a sneaky outside of Larry Bird, and then I'll pass it back to Kyle. Outside of Larry Bird, you know who was a sneaky good GM? Not coach, GM. Isaiah Thomas. Sneaky new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He knew how. No, his late round drafting was good. His early round drafting was about as kosher as his texting of the staff.
All right. All right, Ryan. Situation here. Would you take this? LeBron comes to Cleveland. He is player coach, and your GM's Rich Paul.
Oh,
Yeah. If anything to get Kenny Atkinson off my team, anything, I'll take a bag of chips coaching LeBron.
That sneaky turn, like eventually you're gonna have to get a real coach because LeBron's gonna be a bad coach. But like I think if that happened, that sneaky turns you into the Midwest Knicks.
I'm fine with that.
No, like I mean that as a compliment, man.
Yeah. I just want Kenny Atkinson off my team.
Like that low key would provide organizational stability potentially.
Hey, we've seen agents become somewhat decent GMs. You know, Bob Myers was an agent before he was a GM. Rob Pelinka was an agent before he was a GM. Leon Rose, yes.
Ended a drought.
It does have a history of working. So if there's any agent who could become a GM out there now, Rich Paul would not be a bad idea to have as a GM or take a shot at something like a GM like that.
Ask yourself this though: does Rich Paul want to give up the great honor of hosting a podcast with Max Kellerman?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Man, I don't want to talk about that.
And I love Max, but
I used to love Max. He's I can't. Thinking about him makes me sad. Anyway, he hangs out way too much with Dana White, and he's got to stop doing that. He's really got to stop doing that.
He's trying to get a job.
Oh man, God, Jay, we can't even talk about the silliness of that Conor McGregor card.
No, and you know what? That's for the best.
It's not worth talking about.
Like, oh man, what?
Matt, the floor is yours if you want to take some parting shots at that.
Oh my God!
Hey Matt, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind?
Yeah, what's on your mind, Matt?
So, I have two schools of thought on this.
Mm-hmm.
There is credible evidence that shows that Conor was injured in that knee leading up to the fight. There's a video of him from that week in Vegas leaving a physical therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if that guy was able to get that fucking video, that means the UFC also knows. The UFC borderline thinks they're the FBI and CIA, and they unfortunately have connections to them now to where they probably are operating like them. But like, if a random schmo was able to get that video, the UFC definitely knew that Conor was going to that doctor. He is still under contract with them, which means he is still technically their most bankable star. And every single sport league knows where their most bankable star is. They do. And if they don't, it's a fucking story. That being said, if the UFC knew that, which in my personal opinion, I have nothing to prove this other than what I just said, but that's not proof. That's my opinion. If they knew that, they got to refund all of the people that bet on Conor because 86% of the bets going into that fight were on Conor, and the odds did not reflect a potential injury because the odds right before the fight actually lowered for Max. So the odds went up for Conor, which means for your non-betting folks that are potentially watching, that means Conor went from, oh, he's not going to do well to, oh, he's actually potentially going to do well. So something happened there. I don't know if it was by accident. I don't know if it was forced. Something happened there. And there is organizational dishonesty from the UFC, at least when it comes to Conor McGregor. And like, I believe that, like if the UFC knew he was hurt, especially considering how tied they are to gambling entities, you got to refund that money because that is messed up. That is messed up. Like, how do you expect to like I know gamblers, like, especially UFC, especially fighting people who gamble on fighting. I know they're not exactly baccalaureates, but bro, like that's dirty. Like, that's dirty. Like, that's wrong. Like, that's wrong. And I'm also pretty sure that's illegal because, like, that's essentially you knowing that a fight is fixed to a degree. Moving off of that, because I do genuinely believe off of that. I genuinely believe all of that. To the 86% of bettors who
What are you doing?
Don't get ahead of me. Who put money on Conor McGregor? It is 2026. What in the fuck are you doing? Like, are you kidding me? The last time he was in one of those things, his leg exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And he was 5 years younger and had done significantly less cocaine. And like, I'm not even just saying that as a joke. Like, what the hell were you doing? Like, and if those facts didn't deter you when you were making your betting calculations, excuse me, almost dead. Oh shit, I lost it. Oh, I hate my life. Don't get ADHD, kids. Don't bet on Conor McGregor either. What was it? He hadn't fought. He hadn't fought in 5 years. He was fighting at a higher weight class, and he was fighting Max Holloway, who was fighting not just in general. He was fighting at a high caliber and a high clip. His last fight was against Charles Oliveira.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, it was Dustin Poirier's last fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, now I remember. All of this being said, his history being said, on top of all of that, Drake bet $1 million on him. And that was announced a couple days before the fight. You knew. You had the answers. You knew. Spark Notes was gifted to you. You didn't need to read Where the Red Fern Grows. You know both those dogs are going to die. Like, come on.
Within pages. Within 20 pages of each other.
We don't need to read the book. We don't even have to watch the goddamn movie. Like, Are you kidding me? Like, so it's like weirdly two things. Because I do think there is plausible, like, yo, this needs to be investigated. The UFC may be new. And if so, and they're working with the betting markets so that they could get a bag, because those betting markets made so, like, an obscene amount of money that day on those Conor bets. They made an obscene. We should ask Jordan how much money his casino made on the Conor bet day. But so there is that. If they knew, that's messed up, because that's organizational fraud. Or maybe there's a different name to it. But then also on the flip side, if you bet on him, fuck you.
You deserve what you got.
You deserve to lose your money.
Yeah.
What is like?
What are you doing, guys?
You know, sometimes you just gotta learn that that dog don't do that no more. A lot of people just learn that, and that's what's so unfortunate, because I know people. There are people in my inner circle that believe that Conor McGregor was gonna win that fight, and that's what hurt me, because I don't even know how we became in contact with each other. Because wow, in 2026, that's like, never mind. That's why we have the administration that we have now. That's all I'm gonna say.
Dude, seriously. And then, like, going into the fight, he's finding Jesus. Oh, you found Jesus? Did you get a court ruling recently, Conor? Oh, wow. You just got found of horrible
He meant to say he found Jesus.
Stupid fucking McGregor.
I didn't hear what you said, Kyle. I'm sure it was lovely.
He meant he found Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. He's the worst. I also just kind of find it funny that like of all of the ways that fight could have gone, that was I was thinking about this because Jay, you texted me on that Saturday the exact same time as my cousin, and you texted me the exact same thing.
I love that.
Like, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And like, that was almost like the only positive way that fight could have ended.
Yeah.
Not him losing, him going out
of me.
Essentially a DNP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect, poetic.
In the first 30 seconds too, he just threw a kick and his leg was like, "Yeah, we're done."
I thought
So Matt,
yes.
Matt and Trey, you know a little bit better than me on this stuff. Is this the end of this? Is like, can we just call it over with him?
Nope.
It should be, but it won't.
People are still going to pay for it to watch McGregor.
I do think his stock took a significant hit. Like, I do think that. I do think that. I still think he's a headliner. I think the next time he's booked as a headliner, it's going to be a punchline, and they're going to spend the entirety of that getting shit on and getting made fun of. But he is still a draw.
Just like, what's the timetable for his return at this point?
A year.
Was it a torn ACL?
ACL and meniscus.
Yeah, about a year. At his age, probably a little longer.
Yeah. But also keep in mind, Jesus.
You know what? He'll get one last fight in the UFC, and we'll get him in a Logan Paul boxing match.
Well, that's what he wants. That's what he's aiming for. So he actually, I believe he has. I think he technically has 2 more fights left on his deal. That's also why he's pushing for like this comeback. It's so that he can get out from his contract because he wants to get paid by MVP. Like he wants to go get a Netflix deal because he knows that if he goes to a Netflix deal, like bro, he probably knows what Ronda got paid, and he knows that he can get like 10 million times more than her.
He's printing money.
Like Nate Diaz and Conor 3 is probably going to happen on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I have no interest in that fight.
It is going to be awful.
It's going to be horrible.
No interest. I'm not even going to watch it for free.
I'm going to watch the shit out of those highlights on X.
Yeah, you got to pay me to watch it.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Pay me for my time.
I'm gonna watch the highlights on Instagram Reels.
Yep.
Yeah, all 30 seconds of it.
Mhm,
I
I
want
was
to
gonna
fight
say.
more.
It bummed me out too because the following week the main event was awesome. Jay, I don't know if you watched that main event, but DDP versus Usman, that was a
I
hoot.
should have. No, I missed it. Mm-mm.
Dude, when we're done, go watch it. It was a good time. It doesn't end out well for Usman, but it was still a really fun fight.
I saw that he got punched on. He's done though. He's got to be done.
He's 42, man, but like he doesn't look how he looks compared to like think of like the rest of his generation of champions minus Volk. He doesn't look like them. He still looks like he's in better shape. And I don't just mean physically.
Right.
I
But
will,
like, okay.
I will say though, where he's got to watch it is his mental toughness. Because ever since the Leon fight, he's kind of become a baby.
Yes. But my thing is like what does he do now?
That is the other thing. Because like he was also not just a champ, he was a dominant champ.
He shouldn't have lost. He got flash knocked out.
It was a great knockout.
It was good. It was good. Really good though. It's beautiful.
That's one of the best things to happen in Utah.
It is one of the best. not many.
It's small and it's in the locker room area of that arena, but there is like a little like thing that like commemorates like that fight in that Utah arena.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean it was a hell of a knockout. I remember going to bed, being like, should I treat like this or not? And I was like, Usman's probably gonna ragdoll him. I'll just wake up tomorrow because like that was also a one fight card. Like that was a bad card.
Yeah.
Like that was a very lackluster card. But then I woke up and like the top scroll on ESPN, because this is also when UFC was owned by ESPN, so ESPN gave a shit about MMA. But the top thing was Usman got knocked out in the fifth. Because it wasn't just he got knocked out in the fifth. He got knocked out in the fifth with a minute left.
Like in a fight that he was winning.
That he was winning he was gonna win 5-0. Like he was maybe gonna win 4-1. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this completely digress. Look at we didn't talk about we kind of talked about the NBA, but we only talked about soccer, and then we talked about rational adults getting hit in the face. Look at us, gents. We watched
today.
Oh, this is the other funny. This is my final observation from the McGregor Holloway fight, and then I do actually want to wrap this up because I just saw what time it was. So McGregor, he loses. They get him the fuck out of the ring. He's got the boo-boo face with his stupid ass. Business move by Holloway, and I use that word specifically. Jay, I wonder if you caught it. During the post-fight, he's saying, "Let's do that again." I'm like, that's a man that wants to get paid again.
Yeah.
Because that was definitely Max Holloway's biggest payday. And he's like, yo, I might get another one.
Yep. And you know what's funny is I was gonna say this. The biggest winner from this fight was somehow Paddy Pimblett.
Right.
Paddy Pimblett had the best day of his career after that fight.
Yeah, seriously. Like Max, I think fiscally is the big winner because he got 7 figures from this. He's gonna get another 7 figures because also Connor, which like poor Michael Chandler. Connor said that it has to be Holloway when Chandler is right fucking there and is just like that would be an even match for Connor, him versus Michael Chandler.
Yep.
But like digressing from that though, Jay, you really said it, and I guess we'll end it there. Patty he was going up against BSD. BSD is supposed to be a really good wrestler. That shit got on the ground, and then he tapped him out.
Yes, quickly.
Yeah, people are like, oh, he got him. Oh, he got him. It's like, dude, name the game is fucking win.
Yep.
Like he caught him, and like, and like, yes, like he caught him, but like he had to keep adjusting. Like there were moments where BSD could have escaped. Granted, I'm not a fighter.
The way he submitted him was gorgeous. That choke,
that was amazing.
Patty folded himself up like a lawn chair. It was insane.
It was incredible.
He choked this man out.
Yeah, he choked this man. Like it was incredible. Like Ryan, I don't know if you've seen the video, but it was
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh man, it was kind of like a Darce with like a Panamanian necktie.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes.
heck yeah! I have to go watch this immediately.
The way he transitioned on the ground to it too was just there was nowhere for him to go. There was nowhere for him to go.
And it was within a minute too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the best night that entire night.
Yeah, because then also afterwards, he was just kind of he afterwards. There's video of him basically making fun of Connor and be like, "All right, I'm the new cash cow." It was amazing.
I
It
guess
was
I'm the face of the UFC. That's pretty much what he said.
Yep. All right,
Good for him.
Kyle, you're back. And before you go off again, I do want to wrap this up. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining as always. Look at us talking soccer and gentlemen getting punched in the face with a smattering of NBA. Don't worry, football is around the corner. And also the trade deadline for baseball is relatively soon, so we'll have something to talk about there. Hopefully the Yankees make moves. Trade everyone, please. Dear God, trade everyone.
Seriously.
Jay, thank you for joining us per usual. Jay, where can the people find you online? Is there anything you want to plug?
You can find me at j.johnson_812 on Instagram. Nothing I want to plug. Just be a good person.
Hell yeah. Ryan, thank you for joining as usual. It was very hard for me to not constantly stare at your screen, especially when you had the Frenchie there. Ryan, where can the people find you online? And is there anything you want to plug?
Well, here's the Frenchie. He wants to say hello. You can find me at Ryan12490. Nothing I want to plug. Just want to say like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing. And we're going to have a lot of NFL coverage coming up for you guys to dive into. So get ready for that.
And college football.
And college football.
We know ball. Kyle, you're the co-host. So, I'm always going to thank you. But, per usual, thank you for joining us as always, especially as you DoorDash and do this, that, and the other thing. Kyle, where can the people find you online? And is there anything you want to plug? I know that you just posted a new music video today.
You took the wind out of myself. So, Music Fan 77. Yes, I did drop a cover song for the first time in a very long time. It is, we've talked about this album before on here. A song from Chaos Base Asylum called Soldiers. Really, really, really beautiful song. Really poignant, especially during this time. It's been something that I've been meaning to do for months, literally months. And I have another video coming out tomorrow to explain some things that have just been going on. But hopefully this is the start of some more consistent music because I miss it and I miss putting stuff out. So keep an eye out for that stuff. Also, this is a very, very early sneak peek. But I came up with a really, really fun idea for when we get to March Madness that actually might span more than just March Madness, but the college basketball season, because I have a really fun bracket I want to do, and you guys are going to be, as in like you, the fans, are going to actually help pick this bracket. So once I have a little bit more, like once we get to November, be on the lookout for some of this stuff because it's going to be very interactive and it's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, just echoing what Jay said, be kind. We just saw an incredible World Cup. So many great countries working together and some very good camaraderie. Let's see if we can maintain that for a little bit.
Absolutely. I also recently made my first sponsor video for my job. And this is a long way of me saying I kind of know how to do basic ass editing. So hopefully more content will be coming towards this is a way of me saying more content will be coming to the Sports Yammer YouTube page, not just these. And then also I will eventually start putting these back on podcasts so that we can do it that way as well. Until then, gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for joining us and me. Always remember, gents, fight back against Dunning-Kruger. Dark Alignment is a hoax. And don't just strategize, remember to empathize. I will see you next week, everyone. No World Cup. What will we do? We'll find out. See you next week. End.